Hey everybody, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Founders in LA podcast. I'm your host Ethan Cole, and this is an opportunity to shine the spotlight through a product lens on some of the exceptional founders we have as part of the LA community in an unedited, one-take organic conversation. With us today in the studio is Jessie Somekh. Thanks for coming down, Jessie.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to hear more about Rotate Your Closet. But first, a word from our sponsors. Founders in LA is brought to you by Distillery. Hey, Founders in LA listeners, finding the right tech talent can be crucial for your startup success. Distillery, which is based right here in Los Angeles, specializes in software development and staff augmentation, and has supported LA startup community since 2012. Trusted by local favorites like Dollar Shave Club, Thrive Market, Tala, and Tala, Distillery connects you with skilled developers who seamlessly integrate into your team to help move projects forward or create teams to build products with you. Whether short-term or long-term support is needed, Distillery offers flexible solutions tailored to fit specific needs. Visit www.distillery.com to learn more about how Distillery can support your growth. We're also brought to you by United Club. United Club is a co-working space that sets itself apart. With locations in El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, and Hermosa, United is where creativity flourishes. Unlike traditional offices, they provide an inspiring environment where ideas can thrive and businesses can grow. With United, there's no hidden fees, flexible terms, options for dedicated offices, and unlimited access to their conference rooms, a photo studio, this podcast studio, plus standard 3D printers, and 24/7 access at any of their locations. They're local champions who support neighborhood businesses, open their event spaces to nonprofits, and celebrate art, music, and culture. Join United Club and experience co-working like never before. Learn more at www.united.club. Our guest today is Jessie Somekh. She is the co-founder and co-CEO at Rotate Your Closet. And Jessie, can you just give us a 30-second description of Rotate Your Closet?
Yeah, definitely. So Rotate is a peer-to-peer clothing rental app. So think Airbnb, but for clothing. Women have all of these clothes that sit in their closets. We only wear about 20% of the clothes that are in our closets. I tell people that and they laugh at me. They're like, no way, it's less. And I think it might actually be less since the pandemic. But it lets women monetize the clothes that normally sit in their closets unworn and gives people access to local closets, so you can get same-day access to trendy pieces at a fraction of the cost of traditional ways of shopping.
So in many ways, it's a trend of taking something that you already have, some sort of asset you have, and making the most of it instead of having it sit idle. So, for instance, Turo allows you to have a car that might just be sitting around and get something from it. Another app we featured on Founders is CalmU, is where if you have an apartment and you're traveling abroad or traveling anywhere, you can have someone use your apartment, or Airbnb does.
Exactly.
Airbnb does that for entire homes.
Exactly.
And then for you're saying, hey, I've found myself that there's so many clothes in my closet that are being unused by me right now.
Yes.
This is something that might be valuable to someone else.
Exactly. And women spend so much money on clothes, and clothes are really what make us feel good, feel confident, feel sexy. And you run into the issue of not feeling that way because you feel like you need to keep up with these trends because social media and fast fashion are making trends come and go so much faster today. So the rate at which we're consuming clothes goes up, and that leads to so many more clothes in our closets that we're not wearing. And women spend most of their money on clothing, and then you don't even make money back when you go to resell them. So we end up just keeping the clothes in our closets and feeling cluttered. And so this lets women monetize and create recurring revenue from the asset that they spend the most money on in their lives.
So you make a good point. It is an asset. There's a lot invested in it, and it's also this kind of rare instance where you want to invest a lot of money in it, but you only want to use it a couple times. You don't want to keep using it every day in, day out. So you have this fairly high, well-conditioned thing that's in a good condition. It is expensive. It's sitting in your closet, and you could try your hand at those third-place resale marketplaces, but then you lose that item, and you know better than me about the actual money you can make back in trying to resell something versus opening your closet to other folks who are in your same boat, and then it's almost like an infinitely large closet you can create.
Exactly. An expansive, never-ending wardrobe that you have access to. And women, when you go to resell something, there's actually an interesting distinction because we don't really resell things that we like or love. We resell things that we don't like anymore. And that's not a significant portion of our closet. It's those fast fashion pieces, Zara pieces that you just don't want to wear. They're old, they're ratty. And from those pieces, you only make 30% back of the retail value. And then there's all these pieces that you don't even want to resell because you have that emotional attachment to it. You wore it once, you wore it twice. Maybe in a year from now, you're going to want to wear it again, but you don't want to sell it because you're going to get 30% or less back on the retail value. So for us, we wanted to create a way for people to keep those items in their closets, but not just have them sit idle. We joke, we say your closets can earn their rent by renting them out to other people. And yeah, it just gives people a way to not feel as guilty about having those items just sitting in their closets.
I can already see an ad at some point where there's just kind of like you walk into a closet and it just kind of like keeps expanding like forever and ad nauseum. Like I feel like there's a lot to this. How did you find yourself in this space? I know it's not 100% aligned with the background that you've been in. How did you find yourself here?
So my two passions in life, from as long as I could remember, were technology and fashion. I was always building things, tinkering with things. I always had a STEM-oriented brain, but I also loved fashion. That was my creative outlet. Growing up, I would be the closet people would come to find something to wear for an event, or people would ask me to go shopping with them to find a prom dress, or my entire family, nobody would go shopping without me because they needed my approval before they bought something. So those have always been my two big passions in life. And for college, I ended up going to Vanderbilt Engineering School. I was actually looking at a fashion program at WashU versus Vanderbilt Engineering, and my dad, God bless him, he was like, do the engineering. Like, you can always get into fashion, but this is going to set you up for success. So I graduated from Vanderbilt. I went to Microsoft, started working in product, working on developer tools, which wasn't really where my passion lied, but it was
kind of the opposite of fashion. If you were to think of Microsoft developer tools, is pretty much the opposite.
Exactly. It set me up really well because I learned about the intricacies of development teams, anywhere from 2, 3, 4 people to hundreds, if not thousands, person organizations. So I was at Microsoft, and then I moved over to Amazon. I actually went to Nordstrom for 6 months to work on their loyalty program, but it was right at the beginning of COVID, and I ended up laid off from Nordstrom, which I think ended up being a really positive thing for me, but they were based in Seattle, so I was in Seattle for Microsoft and was like, I might as well go try to explore this fashion tech thing. Didn't really work because of COVID, kind of the environment that we were living in. So I ended up going over to Amazon, and that's where I started my career in AI. So I was a product manager on Alexa AI, building sensitive content systems, models, algorithms to prevent sensitive content that exists on the web to surface in Alexa answers. As you can imagine, there's a lot of garbage that is on the internet, and a lot of it, is very... it's very hard to discern a lot of the time what actually is sensitive misinformation because everyone has a different definition of that, so it's very subjective. So I was working on building out the modeling to prevent that content from getting into the AI systems that Alexa would use to then surface the top answer that it chose to the users. So I was there for a little bit. It was an amazing experience. I learned so much. I felt incredibly accomplished at Amazon. And then I ended up at Google, which is where I am. I'm in the process of leaving right now. I know we had a conversation about that, and we can talk about that more. But I worked at Google for over 2 years working on the LLM revolution in search. So bringing LLMs literally to search. There's that top, box on any search result where you'll see like this is a AI generated response. Like that was my team. That's what I worked on for the past year, sprinting to get that out. So that is all to say my background is in product and AI, but my passion is deeply in fashion, and I kind of always knew I would end up doing something at the intersection of fashion technology because the fashion industry traditionally hasn't gotten much love from technology. So about 2.5 years ago, I reconnected with an old friend over Instagram. We actually met 13, 14 years ago now on a teen tour. Basically like a language immersion program that you go on over a summer when you're in high school. And we went to Barcelona. We lived in dorm style rooms, and we instantly bonded. I joke, men bond over sports, and women bond over fashion and clothes. So we instantly bonded over clothes. We were different sizes, but we were still able to share clothes. We had slightly different styles, so it gave us a nice way to, try different styles without having to pay that cost. So after that program, we stayed in touch over Instagram, and this was right in the early stages of when Instagram was growing. So we would DM each other, oh, love this outfit, oh, this looks super cute. And so during COVID, she was actually getting, everyone was doing their closet clean outs and home clean outs, and so she was getting rid of a lot of her clothes, and she posted it on Instagram, and I reached out to her and I was like, no, like, don't get rid of these clothes. Like, I wish I could share, because she was in Boston at the time. I was like moving from Seattle to New York, and then I was moving out here to LA. And so that's really how we reconnected, was she was getting rid of her clothes, and I was like, no, like, I want to share clothes like we used to when we lived across the hall from each other. Girls with sisters get that you have however many sisters you have, that's how many closets you have access to. When you're in college and you're living on a floor with a bunch of girls in a dorm, you have access to all those closets. And so once you graduate, and even in college, people are always looking to try new styles and expand their wardrobes, but everyone's on a budget. We're all looking for side hustles. And so we kind of came up with this idea to help women monetize the clothes that they weren't wearing. And this was, a little over 2 years ago when we started building out Rotate, and we've just been developing, iterating, creating new technology since then.
That's amazing. And, your background wasn't in fashion, but your deep background in AI, having been, close to a lot of the things that are being built at a decent scale right now, provides you with a very interesting intersection. So I'm probably sitting with, one of the world experts in AI fashion, AI and fashion,
Yeah.
So that's always kind of fun. So now that you guys created Rotate Your Closet, how did you go about getting those first customers? So you identified, okay, don't get rid of your closet, don't sell all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's figure something out.
Yeah.
How have you gone about getting your first customers?
Yeah, so we leveraged social media. We built a horrible product. It was built on Shopify. Shopify does what Shopify does really well, is just e-commerce, and they don't do marketplaces, and they don't do rentals, but we found extensions in the marketplace to create that very, very low fidelity MVP that we needed to. So we got our closets on, our poor sister's closets on, God bless them, and then a couple other friends' closets on, and we just started promoting it on our own social channels. And we have, each have a couple thousand followers, and we organically just started getting people either DMing us saying, oh my God, this is really cool, I want to list my closet. And on the flip side, we saw people renting items that we didn't even know pretty quickly after we launched this thing. So that's kind of how we realized, like, okay, there's a real need for this. I mean, we also sent out a survey to like over 500 women, and I think 90% of them were like, yes, this is a problem for me, and I'm spending too much money on clothing, and this would be like an interesting concept. So we had, we were able to leverage social media to get that early traction and get our early adopters.
And then, so where you guys at right now? What stage? What's next for Take Your Closet?
Yeah, so we just launched a mobile app 2 months ago, and we've already seen the same amount of growth, actually more growth on the mobile app in these 2 months than we saw on our website from that first year that we were operating. So we're really just trying to get that, product market fit, iterating on features, bringing in some AI. I think one of the biggest problems we're finding, or two of, is helping women find styles that they are actually interested in. So people will come to me. I also do celebrity styling in LA. So people will come to me and say, hey, like, I'm looking for a wedding guest dress. I'm going to Cabo. It's black tie, and I want to feel like sexy, but also like, I don't want to show too much skin. So we give all these criteria, and we're able to find a dress, pretty much 100% of the time that fits their needs. And then we get a rental from someone else's closet. So figuring out ways to scale that, to get people, find them the items that they're looking for to feel the way that they're wanting to feel. And I think the second piece is sizing. We don't really talk about sizing in the retail space, but it's a huge problem for women We all have different bodies. Nobody is a stick figure, 5'10", skinny, size 0, and that's the way that we have been trained to shop. And so we are going to be leveraging, unique body types and the unique data that we're collecting to integrate AI in to help people find the items and sizes that actually fit them and that will make them feel good about themselves and about the clothing that they're wearing.
That's fantastic. There's like two lines of competitive advantage I'm hearing here. The first one is with sizing. You literally have a person that you can size, and it'll be up to the platform and the individual to decide how much they're willing to share. But
Exactly.
you could actually, instead of like, oh, how do I fit on this? It's like, no, like literally this is a person.
Yeah.
This is her closet. This is how it fits on her.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
you can
we
get a
already
sense.
have
If that's
height
you,
data.
then yeah.
Right,
it'll
so
fit on
we're
you
starting
too.
small. Like, we have height data. So there are girls that will come to us and they're like 5'2", and they're like, I got this altered. Like, I can't put this on. I'm like, this is actually the perfect thing to put on because you're 5'2", you have to get this altered. If you don't put it on, there's another 5'2" girl. There's hundreds of thousands of 5'2" girls out there who will have to buy the dress, they'll have to spend money to alter it, and then they're not going to be able to wear it again. So finding those like amazing moments and using AI to create those like recommendation systems is like really what we're trying to lean into.
Yeah, and the other piece that is really the line that I can see being very valuable is, right now the arms race in AI is data sets, right?
Yeah.
And how to get unique data sets, and you've tapped into a very unique data set where this is something that people are already owning it. It's already inventory. It's already sitting fallow in many closets for most of the time. And if you're able to, if only there was a world-class AI product manager who could come up with like, I'm trying to feel this mood, or here is an event and here's how I want to.
Semantics-based way to shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then inventory management too, like shopping, but yeah, bringing up, Veronica's closet, she's got this thing, she's your size. Here's an event that here's a dress that we know would fit with your criteria you've listed. I see a real competitive advantage with someone who knows what they're doing, coming into the space and attacking those types of problems.
That's the plan.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, what's next, like where you guys are at in the company. So it's still early days. You just launched the app.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys looking for next? Like
So we're
next?
In the process of raising. We are working. So we're focusing on the LA and Boston markets right now, because those are the markets that we're most familiar with, and then we're gonna scale beyond there. But we have some really exciting partnerships coming up. With 2 really big LA influencers. We're onboarding their closets. Don't want to announce anything yet, but they are like 2 of the biggest fashion girlies in LA.
And you could rent their closets.
You can rent directly from their closet, their clothes that you see on their very Instagrams. So kind of creating like a little bit of hype, partnering with them. I could see
that going pretty far, and the strategy of starting in a specific location, really hammering out the product market fit, starting where the 2 founders are, makes a lot of sense. So this is super exciting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we might have to have you back in 6 months or so to hear more LA moments, because I feel like you're going to have more of them coming up.
Yeah.
But grounding this in Los Angeles, we like to think about like what's your most LA moment. It could be tech related. It doesn't have to be. It sounds like you do styling for some celebrities.
I do.
This could be an interesting one.
Yeah, I won't go into any LA celebrity styling moments, but in my first year when I was living here, I have a little mini blonde dachshund, and he's like the quintessential LA dog because he's small and his hair is soft and he's like blonde and he has like natural highlights and he's adorable. And I was at the Erewhon in the Palisades, and I had just done like a Pilates class or something like that, and I was at the Hot Bar, and I bring Louis with me pretty much everywhere because he's so easy to come around, and there was a woman who was bending down next to me, and I was like, it's every single person that passes us, they'll say hi to him and whatever. They're she's asking me, what's his name? And I'm like in the process of ordering my food, and I'm like, it's Louis. She's like, how old is he? And I'm like, he's 6. I'm like trying to order whatever. And she stands up, and I turn around, and I'm like, that looks a lot like Kate Hudson. And I'm like, no way, couldn't be. And then I go order my food, and then coincidentally I'm behind her in checkout, and she's checking out, and they're asking her if she has a membership, and she's like, I don't know, can you check? And they're like, oh, what's your name? She's like, Kate Hudson. I'm like, oh my God, my dog just licked his Kate Hudson's face. Like, I'm never washing his tongue again. But yeah, it was really funny. I was like, oh, I just was like maybe not that nice to Kate Hudson because everyone says hi to my dog. But that was a pretty cool one, just seeing her face to face at Erewhon.
And she picked like the wrong moment too. I'm sure in other instances you'd be different, but like, yeah, I'm ordering right now. I'm sweaty.
Like flustered.
Yeah, you're like the 1,000th person to ask me about my dog today.
Yeah.
But it's funny too because in LA, you're always caught in that like, do I know you, or are you from someone from TV or movies? It's rare that you get like such validation. Like,
totally.
Do you have an account with us? I don't know, look it up. I'm Kate Hudson.
Yeah, and she gave her phone number, by the way. So I was about to be like, oh, I'm going to get Kate Hudson on Rotate. Like, this could be sick. But for privacy, don't want to do that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Jessie. Where can people find Rotate Your Closet?
Yeah, so we're in the App Store. You can type in Rotate Your Closet. Also follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of amazing style inspiration, and you'll be seeing some of those big influencers in the coming weeks that we're launching on the platform. Amazing. And it's live now, so if folks are interested, they can go sign up. And yes, you can go download the app, create an account, and save money and make money off your clothes. Amazing. It's something that's just lying in your closet. You can actually make use of it. Exactly. Amazing. Well, thanks again for coming down, Jessie. We've been speaking with Jessie Somekh. She's the co-founder and co-CEO of Rotate Your Closet. This has been fantastic. Yeah, thanks for having me. All right. Well, thank you again to our sponsors, Distillery and Unita and ProdHub.ai. You can build better products with ProdHub.ai, where innovation meets efficiency. Automate your PRDs, fast-track your story creation, speed up your product team with a single platform. It's your co-pilot for product management. Discover how at www.prodhub.ai. I'd like to thank you all for listening to us, and if you like what you hear, please smash that subscribe button and visit our sponsors. So if you're looking for software developers, please visit distillery.com, and if you're looking for a co-working space in the South Bay, check out Unita and tell them Ethan sent you. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Founders in LA.